Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was thinking, well, I think you're probably going to get to this, so I'm not going to jump ahead. I'm going to rewind the spoiler alert. And you
I
can
don't
go.
know. So there you go. Even though St. Patrick reported using or because St. Patrick start over.
Well done.
If I represent, yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you an explanation. I'm sorry. Explanation.
I don't even have a Green Lantern shirt. How sad is that?
Really?
Oh,
How have I missed that?
Well, I had one for years.
Oh.
And then TJ did her tattooing of my shirts. And it's on a quilt now that's in the basement because it needs fixed and it's not a high priority for a certain sainted mother of mine.
I don't blame her. She's got other things more important.
Sport, golf. Actually, the one time I've golfed, I quite enjoyed it. I was awful, but I quite enjoyed it.
I've been a few times. I'm terrible. He's green.
Yeah, he's limeish green.
Underbelly.
Yeah, very green. Good job, Higgintoot. We knew he, despite Hetty being Irish and not liking it.
Right. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that's. Thank you, Sam, Mr. Sam Adams. Brewery bought they talk about him in that beer comic book.
Oh, do they? Nice. Yeah, I laughed at that.
Sam Adams Brewery bought Dogfish Head. And
okay.
My favorite of all time beer disappeared. You do not have to worry.
Sam Adams.
You do not have to worry. Your favorite beer is still in production. I see it every time I go to the grocery store.
Good. See how close it is to you, and it's so far away for me.
200 years, 8 hours. Welcome back, my fellow agents and our Hellions. It is I, X7, your agent of awesome. With me, as always, is the Lex Luthor to my Superman, the Giganta to my Wonder Woman, Lilith Draco, the mistress of the macabre and awesomeness.
Yeah. Hi, welcome back.
One of us might be a little awesome already. Slancha.
Skull.
Well, considering what day it is we're celebrating, though the Vikings did invade Ireland, so Skull works too, doesn't it? Skull.
Yeah, but I'll still always just say Skull.
We got the bony head.
He's cute. Bony Crown. Don't they sing Bony Crown?
I think so, but you said Skull, and that's how that's how they were. Well, you know this. I don't have to. So today, our topic, should we just go right into it, or what beer are you drinking?
So today, I am drinking Salt Flats Brewery Tank Slapper. It's from.
Did you say tank or taint?
Tank.
Okay.
Tank slap, though that would be funny.
I don't know how
it's from Salt Flats Brewery in Salt Lake City, 1800s. It is I think it's a 9%. Hold on, let me find it again.
Oh, whoa.
Seeing is hard when you're already a little. It was on there somewhere. Now I can't find it.
It's
Oh,
all right.
it is a 9%. It's right there
9%.
in the little writing. It's
Damn
pretty
little-
good. It's,
The damn little writings.
yeah, I know. The older I've gotten,
The littler it gets. Well,
terrible.
some of us have been wearing glasses, not just, well, since they were a wee agent when they were like 10 or 8
Oh,
or 9,
I
9 or
wear
10.
contacts.
Oh,
I wear contacts. Have
I know.
since I was
true.
a teenager, but it's still harder to read. Anyway, it's pretty good. The bitter hits for a few seconds and then kind of goes away. So I wish it would last a little longer, but it's got a good strong bitter initially and the flavor's pretty good.
Piney?
I'd probably get this again.
Is it piney?
Yes. A little bit piney.
Learned
Pretty
a lot.
good.
The IPA was, according to the book, the beer comic book, the IPA was the second. It was not bitter at first, but as it was developed, it's the India Pale Ale. It was the second one after they had beer, a wide variety of, oh my gosh. And then the stout, well, porters, and then the stronger ones were stout porters, and then they kind of separated, even though they're mostly the same. And then the IPA was the second one that was developed as a flavor. All of these got supplanted. All of the different, the Hefeweizen, the Box, they got supplanted in the 50s by American lager.
Okay.
Weiser, because it was cheaper and they didn't want to offend anyone with a strong flavor.
Weaklings. Weaklings.
Well, yes, the book is fascinating. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I think, and it's illustrated, so it's not always words, but really good. And I just was, I mean, it's, when did I reviewed that? And it's like 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Where have I been?
Yeah, right? What are you drinking
Well,
today?
we are celebrating the Orish, and I've poured myself a proper pint. I'm drinking a Guinness. Woo-hoo!
Nice.
Which I never, when I started drinking Blue Moon, I never thought I
You're
would drink
welcome.
yes. Never thought, well, it's also, the stouts are your fault, really, too. I mean, your credit. What did you tell me about it? When you put stuff in a Guinness, it tastes good.
Yeah. Well,
So-
yeah.
It's also Gary's fault because he plopped down one right in front of me for free, and who might have turned down a free beers.
So when I said it tastes better when you put stuff in it, I didn't mean for you to then start taking stuff back out of it and drinking it without. That was never the plan.
Well, the Guinness you get normally is a 4.2 beer. It's almost as wussy as Budweiser or Miller Genuine Draft or Coors. But this is an extra stout. I've had one many years ago, well, about 5 or 6 years ago, got a 6-pack of an import, which was a 10% Guinness, and that was amazing. This is, you know, it's as good. It's good for car bombs, really good for car
Right.
bombs. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I've added half a car bomb into this just because there's no Baileys here at the moment, which I have to get before next month.
Well, you drinking that Guinness is quite appropriate since today the world is celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
With Jameson too.
Yeah. Which is going to be the topic of our video.
Excellent. Because I know, and I know somewhat some things about St. Patrick's Day.
I'm sure everybody does, but there's a few things that, as I was researching the day, that I actually learned. Yay, knowledge.
Wasn't he the guy that drove all the snakes out of Ireland? Allegedly.
Yes, but they can't actually say that because in general, there's not tons of snakes in Ireland.
And snakes
So
are
it's-
cool.
It's one of those mythology stories that's fun to think about, but no way to actually prove.
It's like that saint that drove off the Loch Ness monster in Scotland,
Oh,
allegedly. Like Nessie would.
Nessie's still there. She's still there swimming around.
We'll have to talk about Nessie at some point, I think. Well, with Scotland in general too. So
Yeah.
the Highlanders, there can be only one. But back to Ireland, which is just across
Yes.
the pond.
Yes.
So, was St. Patrick from Ireland?
He was not from Ireland. He was born in Roman Britain. He was actually kidnapped at 16 and taken to Ireland as a slave. He then escaped, but then later went back. He was credited to bringing Christianity to Ireland.
Credited or blamed?
Yes, I would say blamed. The reason we celebrate St. Patrick's Day on March 17th because that was the anniversary of his death in the 5th century. They don't know when exactly, but it was during the 5th century that he passed. So that's why it's celebrated on that day.
Ah, I did not know that.
The Irish has observed this day as a religious holiday for over 1,000 years because he was a saint. What were you counting?
I was, if it was 5th century, yeah, 1400 years now. Okay.
Yeah.
Math is hard when you're awesome. Math is hard, period. I agree with
Yes.
Kirby. I say it every time.
So initially it was observed as a religious holiday, and it falls, as we know from one of our last videos, it falls during the season of Lent.
Yay, Lent.
Traditionally, Irish families would attend church in the morning and then celebrate in the afternoon. And even though Lent prohibits eating meat, this is waived during the celebration. The people would dance, drink, feast on the traditional meal of Irish bacon and cabbage. So fun fact is, I know traditionally nowadays, corned beef and cabbage is the meal that is usually eaten in celebration of that day. But that wasn't it. Traditionally, they used pork, so the bacon and cabbage. The early immigrants, when they came over, they discovered that beef was cheaper than pork. And so that's when it changed to corned beef and cabbage. Growing up, my mom always made corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day, and I do not like it. I do like cabbage and will eat the cabbage, but the corned beef and all of it together is just not good. Do not like it.
This works well for us because I like corn. I love corned beef. So, but cabbage it's not one of my kryptonite foods, but it's just something I'd rather avoid.
Well, I avoid it
for you.
now. I avoid it now because it will make me sick.
Oh, well. And I'm sorry about that.
So,
I have an interesting fact that
yes.
the people from Ireland, when they emigrated to the United States, because North America is Canada and Mexico.
Right.
Certain morons in power don't realize that. Be that as it may, they would go, a lot of times the immigrants from Ireland would have to go to Scotland and wait till they could immigrate to, well, probably on a boat, because back then there were no planes.
Right.
You had to fly with Pteranodon. So a lot of times they are credited as coming from Scotland instead of Ireland. So my family tree says we came from Scotland. Everyone has always said, no, we're Irish because of that. So I mean, that's on my father's side. Now my mother's side, they were Kellys. So that's almost a guarantee of being Scottish, of being Irish. But the other side, my father's side, could be both, really. I mean, it's all Gaelic, right? There's Welsh and Allegedly, we have Cherokee in us, but I have not seen any proof of that. And
Interesting.
my uncle says we also have African in us.
Interesting.
I'm not going to say anything about proof there. So,
Have you ever done one of the DNA?
no, my mom's, my sainted mother's youngest brother allegedly did, and then wanted everyone to help him pay for it.
Oh, no, you pay for your own, man.
But so he did, but he said he didn't have anything, but then he married a black woman, so go figure.
Interesting.
There's a story there.
One year for Christmas, my parents got all of us one of those DNA testers. And
yeah?
so some of us did it. Some of us didn't want the government to have their DNA.
Because a private enterprise would do that.
Yeah. So I do know where my DNA comes from. It comes from Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Norway, and Denmark. No, Sweden. Norway and Sweden.
The woman's a freaking Viking. A short Viking, but she's a freaking Viking.
Very short. Yes.
And
In the centuries following St. Patrick's death, the mythology surrounding his life became more and more ingrained in the Irish culture. One of the most well-known legend of St. Patrick is that he explained the Holy Trinity, which is God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and he used that by using the three-leafed shamrock.
don't forget Mary with the cherry.
Right. So that's more well known and more in the culture than he drove the snakes out of Ireland. Even though the culture says that St. Patrick used the shamrock to explain the whole What?
You were so sincere, and it just tickled my taint. Be that as it may, Lilith would like to continue. I don't know why that was so funny. I just
You over there laughing and covering just threw me way off again.
I tried to hold it in and it did not work. You know how this goes. You remember the guy with the saucer haircut at
Yes, we should have taken a picture.
what was the name of that place? I don't remember the name of that place now.
Luigi's.
No, that's what Annie called it. Luigi. Wasn't it? Was it Luigi's?
It was Luigi. We had a different name for it though.
Well, it had those breadsticks.
Was it Luigi's or was that the joke name?
I thought that was the joke name. I think that's the joke.
What was the real name then?
I don't remember. We went there and the pizza wasn't as good, but the breadsticks were great and they had a better supply of beer. Boy, did they upgraded their beers, that's for sure. But
I guess we never really needed to know the name. We just knew that it was the good pizza place and we knew right where to go.
well, I could walk there even. It was right next-
Giovanni's. It was
Yes.
Giovanni's.
Yes. That's not a Pointers. And scene. You remind me of Phoebe trying to talk through the whatchamajigget's on the Whoosies.
I know.
Poor Ross. Have you seen the show?
Oh,
Oh, her laugh just kills me. It's really funny. You should hear it.
so I know this is a Scottish thing and we're talking about Ireland and St. Patrick's, but it might be fun to add in the Ross bagpipe playing scene.
Oh, jeez.
You know the words.
I was just thinking that. Yee, yee. I'll tell you, folks. Tell you, if you've never watched a movie with Lilith or a television show that she finds really funny, We talked about it about Spaceballs. It's way better with Lily, especially because the first time we watched, the only time we've watched Spaceballs, you were not awesome. And
No, I wasn't.
and it just gets better the more awesome she gets. Just a little aside there.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
I tried to bring it back. And action.
We need a clapboard. Okay.
We do.
Even though St. Patrick used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity, later interpretations said that the 3 leaves are meant to symbolize hope, love, and faith. And if there's a 4th leaf, it symbolizes luck, which is why we considered the 4-leaf clover lucky. Historians say that the St. Patrick's color was blue, not green. Green became the color during the late 1600s and 1700s when the clover became a symbol of nationalism, and wearing green on one's lapels became the norm. So that then changed the color to green.
Ah, I did not know that either.
I didn't either. That was surprising. I had to look up a few different places to make sure.
I know that red is considered far more the color of Ireland than green. The green thing is something that's over here.
Interesting.
Because they make fun of John Wayne in The Quiet Man for painting his house green when she says, well, red's a far more common color than here. Why painting it green? So, but that red hair of hers is no lie.
Up until the 1970s, St. Patrick's Day was still considered a religious holiday, which means pubs in the country, in Ireland, were closed. Ireland later realized that they could attract lots of tourists for the holiday, and the beer was suddenly free flowing.
Show me the money.
Yes. On St. Patrick's Day in 2018, Americans were estimated to have spent a record-breaking $5.9 billion on beer, with the average person paying $39.65. Go Merca.
Fuck yeah. I've got whiskey in me and that brings out the fucks. You know that.
It does. It does. Since 1962, Chicago has dyed their river green using 40 pounds of powder, which reacts with the water to produce a green color, which that powder is environmentally friendly. So they're not destroying anything.
Doesn't Chicago stand for, wasn't that Algonquin for smelly water or skunkweed or something?
I don't know.
No,
I do like the city of Chicago, though.
Well, it has Sue in it, so you have to.
It does. I love Sue. She was beautiful. So beautiful. Oh, Sue.
Stop. Glad I've got these glasses on.
But I do. I really do like the city. Not the Bears, because go Vikings. But
I have a picture of you. I still have a picture of you in front of Sue.
I have it too. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You were so happy. So happy.
Fun fact, that trip we were supposed to go to Hawaii, but somebody thought that going to Chicago and going to a White Sox game was going to be so much better than going to Hawaii. So
he was a White Sox fan and not a Cubby?
Yep.
Frickin' sports ball ruins everything.
But I did get to meet Sue, so in the end, it was worth it.
You did, yes. I keep having to explain. Mom sent me a picture of Sue, or at least from the airport there. I don't think it's actually Sue that's in the airport. I think there is a T-Rex in the airport, but it's a cast, I'm sure. And she's like, well, And I said, you sent me that picture. When was I in Chicago? Saints, give me strength.
For real.
Or
Do the people know who Sue is? Do you think they know who Sue is at this point?
Well, now, are you asking me about dinosaurs? Are you prepared for anything that's about to follow?
Well, we're gonna be here probably for another 55 minutes, but go ahead. Let's tell the people who Sue
I
is.
just had to tell Mom this about Sue and their mineral rights and fossil rights and bidding wars, and it was a mess, and people shouldn't be allowed to own fossils. It should all be property of everybody. And oh boy, you're getting a explanation.
The fellow agents and Hellions might not actually know who Sue is.
Sue was one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons, fossils, because they're not really skeletons at this point in time. Are we cutting?
No, I'm gonna put Sue
Oh,
in. I'm putting a picture of Sue right here. Hold on. You got to point the other side.
oh, that way. So Sue is this beautiful fossil T-Rex. And I mean, there have been some more after she was found that were almost as complete. And that makes a whole, because they found all these, they make a whole, you can tell what a T-Rex is supposed to look like. The T-Rex is the most researched dinosaur on the planet. Hence the reason it's the most, hence the reason it's the most popular.
Nice.
Did I say
nice.
hence enough?
That was good.
Joey uses hence.
My favorite
and
word.
Sue, because she was found on private land, but by not the people that owned the land, there was a big old battle about who owned Sue, which should not have been anyone. In Canada, in the Great White North, they don't own, if you find fossils, no matter where you find them, they're public property. You don't get them. Can't sell them, can't do anything. In this country, you get to sell them to people who believe the Earth is 6,000 years old and believe in petrodactyls. So, but Sue is amazing, and
Yes.
I've seen lots of casts of and replicas of, well, not of Sue, but of T-Rexes, Allosaurs, and all kinds of theropods. But Sue would be amazing, and quality might happen at this point in time because it comes out easier as I've gotten older.
That's okay.
It didn't when you first sent me that picture. I just laughed because of the look on her face.
Well, I think going back, I would have a different reaction to being with Sue. It was the fact that I should have been on a beach in Hawaii.
And interesting fact, there are no dinosaur bone fossils in Hawaii because it's too young.
Yeah.
It's only 6 million years old. There were no dinosaurs then.
Right.
So I found that when I went to Hawaii. Have you not been to Hawaii? You've been to Hawaii.
I've been once.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But I found that very interesting that this too young to have dinosaurs. They had scorpions, but not dinosaurs. They did have dinosaurs, little birds that hopped about that were very cute, but not the big ones.
Yeah. No. I watched a debate with a dinosaur denier. So fun. That works. That gets me. Anyway, one of the arguments against how scientists they came up with the idea of dinosaurs. I probably should save this for a dinosaur episode, but whatever, we're talking about Sue. That the scientists came up with dinosaurs as a way to get money from people.
Oh, and climate change too.
And part of that argument was, well, if you go to a museum and you see a dinosaur fossil all put together, right? Those aren't real. They are plaster. They've created those. And so that's part of, the hoax of it all. And the person on the other side was, do you know how fragile fossils are? There's a reason that they take these real fossils and make plaster molds of them, or, fake ones to put on display. You're going to put a T-Rex fossil dinosaur together. The head's not going to stay up there because the real skull is so fragile and heavy. It's going to fall down.
Morons.
And then they asked this person, what are these fossils? How can we date these fossils back millions of years if they're fake? And he says, well, what I would do is I would take a bit of this and a bit of this and some real fossils and crush them up and create this. Do you realize what you just said? That you would take a real fossil, crush it up to make a fake one?
And destroy it.
But the fact that he would use a real fossil but then claims these fossils are fake.
I'm starting to think Thanos was right and got rid of. If he'd have just said, "Let's get rid of the stupid people," I had to let him.
Yeah. Anyway.
So where were we?
Ireland.
That was a rant worthy of Shannon Q. Ireland, it's a lovely country. My Irish accent is really poor. Well, as far as anybody that knows, I can tell you. I can't do a good one because then it'd blow my cover.
Right.
Well, do we have more to go on?
So that was all my notes.
Well, I think we've covered a lot in this particular episode. Way more than we intended to, I'm sure, as always. Do you think we should wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. We'll take it.
That's what he said.
That was my tiki. But speaking of Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I absconded with that from my sainted mother. So, my fellow agents and hellions. This has been, oh, you know what? We did not ask them to like, share, and subscribe.
We didn't.
Again. And you've watched this far, bless you. We really appreciate it.
And if you know anything fun that we haven't discussed about St. Patrick's Day, put it in the comments.
Frickin' whiskey pointers. So, having said all that, and I don't have anything else here. Lilith, until our next adventure. This is X7 signing off along with my partner in crime.
Lilith Draco.
Until our next adventure.
Live long and prosper.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
So you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.